Hello, I'm Steve Morrell, author of ContactBabel's new report, The Inner Circle Guide to Agentic AI. Our research is based on hundreds of surveys with US and UK organisations and thousands of customers. With me today to discuss Agentic AI is John Ortiz, who is Contact Centre AI and Analytics Consultant at MiaRec. John, hello.
Hey, how's it going, Steve? How are you?
Good. Right. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about Ask AI, the new functionality in your analytics solution, and maybe a few of the use cases. So first, could you explain what Ask AI is?
Yes, absolutely. Ask AI, it's a new functionality in our platform we're super excited about. In short, what it allows you to do is you can simply ask or chat with an interface like ChatGPT, and you can ask questions about large data sets or large subsets of data. Right. So I'll give you an example use case, and we can talk about some more use cases in a minute. But let's imagine you're a hospitality contact center, right? And you field thousands of calls per week, and you get, let's say, 50,000 calls in a month. And 1,000 of them were about some customer complaints, right? And let's also assume, too, that you're already using AI to maybe tag some calls. So you can literally see within some interface, like this month, we've had 1,000 calls about customer complaints. So without Ask AI, what you would need to do is you would need to have some analysts analyze those 1,000 calls to figure out basically the why behind the customer complaints. Right. And this would take a very, very long time to do, right? Even though you've already used AI to tag those calls. So what happens in this situation is that, let's say maybe customers were complaining about the gym being dirty or something in the hotel. After the analyst analyzes those calls, it's been maybe a week or weeks, right? And those customers are already gone. They're already at home. They've already forgotten. And, they had a bad experience with you. So with Ask AI, the way this works is instead of having an analyst look through those 1,000 calls to understand the why behind those complaints, Ask AI, you can literally just type in a question. And the question might be, tell me the main reasons or themes behind these complaints. And within a few seconds, the AI is going to be able to tell you the top reasons why customers are complaining. Maybe it's, prices are too high or the gym was dirty, right? And what this allows you to do is you can act on this data really quickly. And I think one thing that's really cool, I was looking at this, I saw it recently on the Harvard Business Review, is something called the service recovery paradox. And what this says basically is, you have customers with you, and the longer you don't have a service failure, the more their loyalty grows. But if you do have a service failure, their loyalty is going to go down drastically, right? So the key is, if you are able to act on this service failure quickly, and that's the key, quickly, then their loyalty to you is going to skyrocket. So I'll give you that example. Like, let's say the customer called into the hotel and said, hey, the gym's dirty. You used Ask AI to figure out that this customer complained about this. And the next day you can call that customer back and tell them, hey, we're sorry the gym was dirty. We went ahead and cleaned it up for you, and we're going to comp the next night for you. This customer is going to feel heard, and they're going to really love that experience, and their loyalty to you is going to skyrocket. Right. So that's how Ask AI works, right? So you don't need to use data analysts to analyze large data sets. You can literally chat with an interface like ChatGPT to ask questions about a lot of calls or a lot of interactions to discover some problems, right? So yeah, we're really excited about it, but that's a long-winded answer for what it is and how it works.
So it sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that myself. Turning a negative into a positive. You think, complaints are a problem, but treated properly, they're actually better. But of course, you have to know what the complaint's about and if there are many of them.
Right.
Another thing our researchers found is that NPS and CSAT customer satisfaction ratings are consistently rated by senior management as the key metrics for the success or otherwise of organizations' CX programs. So how can Ask AI help organizations understand what's driving their CSAT and impacting on their NPS?
That's a good question. And the simple answer is you can just ask AI, right? Like, you can ask AI, tell me why my CSAT is down over the past month or the past week or past quarter or whatever the case may be. Right. But, I think it's important to note, though, like, how this works, right? Because with Ask AI, it's not, let's say you have, again, those 50,000 calls. When you ask AI to analyze those calls, Ask AI is not analyzing all of the call transcripts, right? Because let's say you have 50,000 calls and all of them were 10, 15, or some 30 minutes. All of those transcriptions are going to be very, very long, right? So if you ask AI to analyze those call transcripts, there's no way it's going to be able to do it, right? That context window for the AI is way too large. The AI would freak out, maybe crash or hallucinate, certainly, right? So understanding how Ask AI works is really important, because what you need first is you actually need AI to analyze those calls. Say, for example, CSAT, right? Like you said. So in order for Ask AI to work, first you need AI to score or infer CSAT on every single call, right? So for example, this call, the CSAT was 3 out of 5, and here's a 1-sentence explanation as to why, right? The AI can do that. On this call, the CSAT was 1 out of 5, and here's a 1-sentence explanation as to why. Right. So what this does is it drastically reduces that context window. And now when you're asking the AI about those calls, it's looking at that score and that 1 sentence on that call, that score and that 1 sentence on the next call. Right. So you're asking the AI about some AI that was already done in the past. Right. So by lowering that context window, now Ask AI can interpret that data for you and interpret it really quickly. So now you can ask those questions, right? Like, why was my CSAT down over the past month? The AI is going to look at all those calls, look at the score, look at the 1 sentence of that call, and then quickly do that for all of those calls. So that's basically the way that it works. And I think it's important to understand that, right? Because
absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, CSAT is important, of course, but in itself, it doesn't kind of bring in the money. I assume that you can just use Ask AI if there's similar reasons to surface the reasons that customers buy, or maybe sometimes they don't buy.
Absolutely, yeah. And kind of going back to what I just said, right? Like, if you want to ask AI about specific things, like say QA, then you need to have AI doing auto QA. If you want to have Ask AI ask questions about CX intelligence, then you have to have AI scoring CX intelligence, like CSAT. And same thing with revenue, like you just asked. If you want to ask the chat-like interface about revenue, then you need the AI to score different revenue things. Like, for example, we have an offering called Revenue Intelligence. And what that does is on every single call, it scores a lot of really helpful and actionable sales metrics. Like, the AI can tell you on every single call, is this customer exhibiting buying signals? Like, are they asking about price? Are they asking how soon they can start? The AI will score things like, missed sales opportunities. Did the sales rep miss this opportunity for upsell or cross-sell? And how much was it? The AI can score things like, how well did this sales rep handle this sales objection? Like, say, for example, if someone says, oh, I need to talk to my spouse, the AI can look at the agent's response and say, they overcame it. That's a 5 out of 5 score on objection handling. Or the rep was like, oh yeah, go ahead, talk to your spouse and call me back whenever. That's a 1 on objection handling. So the AI is scoring all of these different sales metrics, and that's just to name a few. It also scores things like sales lost reason, lead score, and all of those different things. And again, now once the AI has scored those things on all of these different calls, now you can start asking questions to Ask AI about things that may cause losses in revenue. Like, I would ask, for example, tell me who are my bottom 5 agents at handling objections, right? And then within a few seconds, I'm going to have 5 names of my agents that are really struggling with handling objections. And then I can even ask the next question, like, are there any specific objections they're struggling to handle, right? You can continue this conversation with Ask AI to get really granular about these things. But yeah, all of those different metrics you can ask about, right? Like, how many sales have we missed this week and why? Give me all of the sales that we missed that had a high lead score and that were exhibiting buying signals. So yeah, it all really goes down to just having the AI first analyze those calls for those individual and granular metrics, and then you can ask AI to give you a high level view of all of those calls, right? So that's basically how it would work for revenue.
Absolutely right. Okay, I mean that's 2 positive things we've talked about there. That we've got the CSAT and we've got the revenue side of things as well. But let's be realistic. I've been in this game long enough to know that cost has always been a massive driver in the contact center. I mean, we don't want to stop every call coming in, regardless of what some analysts will have you, because I still think that's the best way of impacting loyalty and advocacy. But on the cost side of things, how can Ask AI help identify the reasons for, say, low value calls which don't really help the customer or indeed the business?
Yeah, that's such a good question. We actually have just onboarded a customer recently that had this exact situation. So they're a pharmaceutical company, and what they do is they provide pharmaceuticals to different home care customers. So this customer of ours, they have a contact center, right? And the agents that are in this contact center, one of their main jobs is to field calls from the different customers. And They are only supposed to transfer calls to a pharmacist when the pharmacist's expertise is needed. However, what this customer is struggling with is that their agents are just transferring calls to the pharmacist and not answering basic questions. And what this is doing is it's costing them a lot of money, right? Because pharmacist time is valuable. It's wasting the pharmacist's time, and it's also wasting the customer's time, right? So for example, like if a customer calls in and asks about pharmacy hours, the agent should not transfer that to the pharmacist, but that's what's been happening in this contact center. So what we did with this customer is we told them, okay, provide us all the context. Tell us all the times when the agent should transfer to the pharmacist, and tell us all the times and just the explanation as to when they should not, right? And then we give this to the AI, so the AI understands the context of when the agent should and shouldn't transfer those calls. And then we score all those calls, right? And then after about a month, we can see, okay, for example, there was 500 calls that were transferred to the pharmacist that should not have been, right? The AI can flag that. And now we can have some report, and we can, maybe dig into those 500 calls. We can see a long list of them. And then now we have Ask AI, right? So we can tell AI, hey, analyze these 500 calls and tell me what are the top reasons why these agents are transferring to the pharmacists when they should not be. And maybe it's like, the customer was asking about pharmacy hours. Or you can ask another question to Ask AI, tell me who are our repeat offenders or most egregious offenders, which agents are most frequently transferring calls to the pharmacist when they shouldn't be. Right. So again, it goes back about, using AI to analyze the calls first and organizing them. And then once we have the, those granular data points, then we can ask AI about it. But that's just one example use case of how we've used our system, and specifically Ask AI. Because since we've been doing that, I mean, this customer has identified the repeat offenders, identified the top reasons when the agents are essentially being lazy and just transferring the calls. So they've been able to, lower that from happening again, and thus increasing efficiency and, making the pharmacists happy and making the customers happy because they're not wasting anyone's time. So
great. Okay, yeah. Thanks, John. Lots of great insights and use cases there covering, revenues, customer satisfaction, costs, all the things we care about. The report, the Inner Circle Guide to Agentic AI, looks at what's actually new about Agentic AI, best use cases, how to get your organization ready to use it, how to implement it successfully, and most importantly of all, how to do it safely. It's freely available to download from MiaRec. Thank you very much.